Hi folks, John from Designed Elegance Pastry Shop here. How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. So for tonight's lesson, we're going to be making some Genoise, which is sponge cake, and we are going to turn that Genoise into a lemon roulade, which is kind of like a Swiss roll type of thing. So we're going to whip up a batter, we're going to bake a layer, we're going to make some twists, we're going to cut them, and we're going to present them. So give us a minute to get all set up. We'll be right back. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. So to get started with our Genoise layer, we are going to start with some eggs. We're going to use 8 whole eggs. So, 1, 2, 'I know this seems tedious, but last thing you want is a bloody yolk or shells in your bowl. Okay, so what's that? 6, 7, 8. That's 8 large eggs. Okay. We are going to add 1 1/3 cups of sugar, granulated sugar. Okay, so I'm going to use my 2/3 cup measure, and I'll do that twice. So there's 2/3, and now we go up to 1 1/3. Okay. Also at this point, I'm going to add just a pinch of salt, because I'm not using any salted butter in this recipe. So I need a little bit of salt for flavor. And salt actually enhances the flavor of pretty much everything from baking and soups and all that good stuff. Also, I'm going to add just a touch of vanilla. Don't need much, just a little splash. And there we go. Okay, so I'm going to put it on my mixer. I'm going to use my KitchenAid mixer here, and I'm going to use the whisk attachment, not the paddle, because we want to fluff these eggs. So the idea is to fluff the eggs and make them nice and frothy. Okay? All right, we'll let this go. Now, while those are whipping, I'm going to prepare my pan. Basically, I have a half sheet pan, and I'm just going to spray the edges. Now, if you have a 9x13 pan, if you have 2 9x13 pans, this recipe will be great, okay? Because this is about a 9x13 right here. Anyway, you want to do if you only have 1 9x13, you just want to make a single batch, which would be 2/3 of a cup of sugar and 4 eggs. Now, as far as the flour is concerned, we're going to use 1½ cups of flour, which likewise would be 3/4 if you were just making a half batch, because you only have a 9x13 inch pan. So, that being said, we'll leave this off to the side. We'll let this whip a minute. And let's get these things ready. It does take a few minutes for the eggs to whip. Sometimes you don't necessarily want to have them on full speed. Medium speed actually makes things froth up a little quicker, because you're not knocking the air out as quick as you put it in. When you whip too hard, that's what happens. Any air that you're whipping into it gets whipped right back out immediately. So by turning the speed down a little bit, your eggs will actually froth and whip up a little better, quicker. It's going to take a few minutes for this to go. Also, another trick is to start with warm eggs. If you start with warm eggs, they will froth up a little bit quicker as well. I'm going to stop this for a second. Alright folks, so this has been mixing for about 10 minutes now, and I put it on medium speed a bit ago, and I want you folks to take a look at how much it's grown in the bowl there. Can you see it? Okay, so now I'm going to just slowly turn it down, let that run off. I don't want to bang the bowl, because I don't want to lose the air that I just whipped in. Okay, so we'll just let that basically run off quick. That's about good. Okay, now we'll give it a little wipe. Okay, so now we're not going to take our flour and just dump it right in. What we're going to do is we're going to use a whisk, and we're going to fluff it in. Let's see, this is our 3/4. Okay, so we want to do this twice, and I'm using all-purpose flour, of course. Okay. 1 and 2. Okay. Tap a bit on. And mix it in lightly, like so. Notice what I'm doing is I'm getting underneath it, and I'm coming up and I'm giving a little twist. Okay? Good. Just like so. What we're looking to do is retain the volume that we just, all the air that we just whipped in, we want to retain that. So we want to just mix this flour in nice and slow, little by little. Okay, if I dump the whole thing in, it's all going to go to the bottom, and that's not going to be any good because then we won't be able to mix it in. Okay, you got to be patient on this one. There we go, we're getting there. Look how loose and fluffy that is. Mm-hmm. Okay, almost there. Like I said, I'm lifting from the bottom up to blend the flour in, letting it fall right through the whisk. There we go. Let's get the rest of that in there. Okay. Give it another little fluffer. Now once it's all dissolved in, when you can't see any more chunks of flour, you know it's ready for the pan. Now I was mistaken earlier when I was giving you folks the half batch and all of that. I forgot how much this actually grows, and I'm pretty sure that this batch makes 2 pans instead of just the 1 pan. So that's what we're going to do here. 1 there. One here. And we're just going to roughly divide between the 2. And we want to work quickly on this because it's just going to start falling and losing volume from here on out. Okay, so now that we have it divided, we want to spread it. And I don't want to go back and forth with it. I'm just going to go from the center and do each corner and stroke it as little as possible. Okay? See how I'm just going out to the, starting from the center Working toward the corners. And it doesn't need to be perfect, okay? But that's pretty good right there. Okay, there's one. Right here. Right there. Okay, notice I'm working it as little as possible. The more I work it, the more air I'm going to lose. And I want it to be nice and fluffy. Okay? Alright, this little bit I'm just going to tuck into the corner there. Looks like this corner could use a little bit more. Okay, now these are ready for the oven. Let's bake them. They're not going to take long. We're talking 6 to 8 minutes. And we'll be right back.